Welcome to God's Way, YTVY. I'm Adolphina Shephard, and this is my co-host Thomas Knight's Templar.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Well, as usual, we have a fabulous show lined up for you today and some fabulous guests. We are going to be doing a mediumship gallery with our guests, and also we're going to talk about earthbound spirits and cross probably millions of them over. So stay tuned, and let me just go to our first guest, Josephine Perone. Josephine, tell us about yourself for those who don't know.
I am a spiritual intuitive healer, metaphysical teacher, geopathic cleansing expert, I would say, at this point.
At this point.
Yes, and I'm elated to be on the show. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the other guests on the panel. We'll mix it up here a little bit. That would be a good thing.
Yes.
And also now going by the name of the opulent godmother is what the Holy Spirit gave me to actually present myself further because of the wealth of opulence and knowledge that we bring into this world so that we can have a harmonious existence
To our new ascension.
Ascension. Very good.
Okay. And Melissa, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me as well. It's an
Okay.
honor. I am a psychic medium,
Okay.
and I was recently, about a year ago, featured on the documentary Living Different for Oxygen.
Okay.
I am a spiritual teacher as well, and a radio show host.
The radio show, what is that on?
It's on the Evolving Soul Network,
Okay.
and it's called Evolving Soul with MC.
All right, so you
My
have
initials.
it's your own show.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Cool.
And?
And you've had a TV show on Oxygen that's
have.
going international now. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. It was actually a true honor, to say the least, because it was focused on women living outside of the box, kind of pushing the norms of society. Along with myself, we had a female NFL player. So it was kind of...
So it's just a mixture of different types of people,
Interesting.
different types
Yeah.
of different walks. How did you get on that?
I actually don't know. I believe Spirit was
Moved you right there.
divine intervention, yeah. Two people actually contacted me the same day
About the same show?
about the same show.
Oh, how interesting.
They worked back to back in the same cubicle and didn't know each other had reached out.
Wow,
So
that's good.
at
That's
that
good.
point, I knew it was correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I really like the sound of your show where you talk about behind the scenes because, you know, people really don't know what we sacrifice to bring this knowledge to them, to raise them up, to raise their vibration, to teach them hidden knowledge that very few are open to. So I can imagine that was pretty fascinating.
Yes, to say the least.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, our goal isn't so much money as it is helping mankind, helping the world, right?
Yes.
And so, and I mean, I used to be in the corporate world, made a nice tidy sum, but you know what? This became my path, and that's what
Your
was so
purpose.
important.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And I bet everybody has a story like that.
I think so too, and I think it's really living in purpose, you know, not so much of what we want materialistic or
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah,
but
that's all
Well,
of
when
this.
the
That's all of
awakening
this
happens,
realm.
It's
3D.
undeniable,
That's,
and if you're in denial, they will definitely.
backhand you right
Oh.
out.
Yeah,
It'll be an incredible, consciously consuming, life-altering experience.
I love when they give you stuff. They say to you like, they probably did this to you too. Well, if you're such a magical person, why don't you win lotto?
Right.
So I looked at it, I started
Very
laughing. I
true.
said to go,
Yeah.
because that's ordained for certain people to do that at the proper time. I said, if I'm ordained to get it, I'll get it.
I agree.
I said, I'm not going to go try to circumvent somebody else's free will so they don't get it, I get it.
Yes, and I believe it's in our soul contract as well before we come here to, you know, have those experiences.
But just in
and-
case, put in a good word for me because I need to win lotto.
You got it.
I wouldn't mind either.
I take care of
actually did
everybody.
pick
Believe
numbers,
me, I
yeah.
take care of everybody.
I'll just
Well,
take 20%.
Everybody gets a
as
brand
you well
new used
know-
car. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Th- There we're being observed for our spiritual opulence, due from the heart.
You like that
Yes.
word, don't you?
Absolutely.
I
I've
do,
been using it
that's
for
a
years.
lovely word, really.
They called me the opulent knight.
There you go.
He remembers being a Knights Templar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, very interesting.
yeah. That's why, that's
A
his handle.
particular knight Templar. All right.
Absolutely. We've also
The
remember
protector of the
coming.
Grail.
Have you ever watched The Curse of Oak Island?
Yes.
The
I
what?
like it.
Obsessed.
That guy,
I'm obsessed.
you know, what I hate about that is they go and they do all of this stuff, and it's said, through the curse of the island, that a seventh person has to die. I mean, they have all this modern equipment there, and I'm saying to myself, the only way somebody's going to die here is they do a swan dive into that hole.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause how's it going to happen? You know, and everybody's like watching it, wondering who's going to get it.
Actually,
know?
it was the young son of one of the partners that just recently passed. So
Really?
he made 7. He
So
worked.
but he didn't die there.
No, he didn't die there, but
Oh.
it was right after filming. So
Wow.
I'm kind of curious what's to
Yeah.
come.
One of the brothers' sons.
Yes.
We can go there and clear that.
Now
You could.
I missed the name of it. What was
And then
it?
everything
Oh,
will
The
be fine.
Curse of Oak Island.
It's a good
Yes.
show, it really is. They spent millions on excavating it. They found coins and things from like the period of like the 1400s and 1700s and stuff. And they, as they're drilling down, they found pieces of cord that was down there, and they dated it. And it was like 1400s, about the time that the Templars brought
Yes.
supposedly brought their fortune. And what it is a shaft, the money shaft, and it has all these other shafts that are directed into the ocean. So if you try to get down there, it drowns you.
Booby traps.
Booby traps is what it is. Medieval booby traps that still work. You know? That's interesting.
A very big Knights Templar connection.
Yes.
to
Well, what was
that.
your feel on that?
I do. I actually feel that there's.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I do.
What about you?
I've been around for centuries.
Never mind that. Were you there on that island? Were you giving them a guide? I'm your tour guide. Let me take you onto the island. Over here's the hole with the money. Are you doing that? Okay.
No.
That would be kinda
well, that
cool
would be
to go,
kind of
though.
interesting.
I would love
We're
to
in
go
for a
there,
new
too.
adventure
Where's that,
other
off
than
the coast?
standing in the middle of the ocean connecting to
Yeah.
every grid line and zapping
Yeah, I
things
know.
out. I mean, I have my mission, you had your mission, we all have missions.
Was that's off the coast of what? Nova Scotia?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyway, these guys have spent millions and millions there trying to get this thing out. People have died to do it, and now you tell me there's a 7th. So now the curse should be over, and they should find it.
Hopefully, right?
Okay. All right.
You know, you touched on something there about how you will be awakened in some way, and I can't tell you how many people I know who've had an accident or an illness which is really designed to wake them up. And that's what happened to me. I mean, you know, I knew, like I always had the gift of knowing, but literally I had a car accident and I didn't want to be disabled the rest of my life. So that led me on my path of healing through many, many different modalities and so forth. But I can't tell you, I have talked to so many people over the years, and it's been the same for many, many, many people.
Yes.
If you don't get on your path, they will show you.
Right.
figure out a way.
Mine
Yeah.
started with actually the death of a child. And, you know, it wasn't birth yet. But that sent me off into the deepest, darkest place until I called to God and I said, help me, because I don't understand what I'm feeling. And that's where it started from. And then so many, you know, I started seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, and I still was in denial.
It's always fun, isn't it?
Remember that? Until I started getting the worst hauntings I've ever seen. They shocked me
the
out
truth.
of my body because I did not want to be that spiritual psych. I had an aversion to it from all the debts that have occurred in past lives, which do past life regressions, they would come back to whether you were extremely wealthy and you were, you know, actually, you know, at that time when there was the spiritual the high rollers of the 15th or 16th century, there were problems with that because they wanted the very wealthy people to be part of those religious groups, and the holy rollers would come and check and make sure that you were doing the right things and that you were, and if you were hanging out with a group of spiritualists because that's what you wanted to do, they didn't like that. So they scrutinized you, and then, you know, a lot of things would happen after that. It's like, I remember I was a baroness, I was Norwegian, you know, hence the complexion.
And your husband's name was Sven.
What, his name was actually Thomas. But
His name was Thomas?
It was Thomas.
I was there?
right,
Okay.
right. We had, a lot of things transpired that would bring you back to, no matter how much money I had,
Yes.
it still did not bring back the family who died of the bubonic plague.
Okay, a bubonic plague, yeah. it
Right,
was a
and
big
there was
thing,
nothing you
yeah.
could do that. The whole family
Was it like
died, and I was
1/3
left, and
one-third of the
they
popula-
accused
was
me
it
of staying
1/3?
alive because I indulged in spiritual practices that were not piety. They called me a heretic, and that caused a lot of confusion. And from there, you go and sink into a hole. No money in the world could bring back your
Did
family.
they try to give you a hot foot?
Huh?
Did they try to set you on fire?
That happened in another lifetime, sure.
There goes those flashes you're having
Right.
now.
That's why we had an aversion to it, this spiritual aversion to it, because we knew, down deep inside, you knew how much trouble it was going to be to bring yourself forward and what you would go through until
true.
you had no choice.
Did you go through any of this, by the way?
I'm sorry?
I mean, when you came into your gifts, I mean, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but I'm just saying, when you were, say, 7, did you have the
4.
gifts then? 4. Okay, 4.
4.
So what exactly took place that you started talking to Grandpa?
Actually, no. Nobody had passed in my family at that point.
Oh, so you were seeing other
And-
people.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
I grew up in Canarsie in Brooklyn.
All right.
And there was a gentleman who would roam the hall, just his silhouette every night.
All right.
And I can remember that still
Did he talk to you?
vividly holding, no, never acknowledged me.
So you knew you could see him, but never said anything
Yep,
to you.
and would pace the hallway, and nobody would ever see him except me. But I vividly remember peeking over through just
was
the
that, in
crack in
Hattie's?
the door. Yeah, right around the block, actually.
You know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people buried over there.
Yes.
Yes, quite a few.
I was very afraid of that place as a child. We went to day camp there, so yeah.
So what happened as you grew up as a child with the gift? This was the conversation that we had last show with. She was 15, the girl, but she carried herself very well. Like she was a hell of a lot older, and
Because she had a mentor.
yeah, she has a mentor. Thank God she has a mentor.
Well, thank
Did
God,
you
that's
have
right.
somebody who could explain to you what was going on at the time?
Interestingly enough, I didn't, and I was a Catholic school girl.
Oh, that goes over
So,
well with
yes.
the Catholics. Yes, it sure does.
I was in the principal's office quite often. I would challenge their beliefs or ask, how is an angel, supposedly this when they've never actually walked the earth plane? And it was like, okay, you can go to the principal's office now. So, yeah. So
Mother Teresa of Avila would love you right now. I actually know her reincarnation person that she is in this lifetime.
Which was that? You won't be able to book?
No, she was the doctor of the church, but she had spiritual, mystical gifts, and
Okay.
because she wore nun garb, it was okay,
All right.
And because you don't, they were, I raised Catholic as well. I know the whole story. That was another thing. That's where the heretic part came in. That's all I kept hearing in my head the whole time I was seeing apparitions.
Well, you were at the time. You were in you were like torn between your Catholicism
Oh,
and
absolutely.
spirit. What was going? I remember this with her. Tom, go down to the basement. Tell me what you feel. I mean, it was great.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, I had children that
Yeah,
were
they were-
very
they were-
gifted as well.
and they were
who
picking
at
on 'em,
2 years
too.
old was telling me, "Mommy, there's this going on, that's going on," and I'd be like, "All right, just let's not pay attention to it." But as things started to happen to me, I realized that if I don't put myself forward and learn and open my gifts up and learn how to harness the energy and how I'm supposed to, use my integrity, my dignity, and do the work that I was supposed to do, that I was not going to be able to teach her. And I didn't have a Greek yaya, but I was going to be her mentor, and I am, and for many as well. That's why they call me godmother, because I love to help
Yes.
everyone utilize their gifts.
So you had to hone your gift yourself,
pretty much.
basically bouncing off people.
Yeah.
And
I
you-
put it away for a long time.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because it makes you a pariah amongst your friends. You know what I mean? It does. And
high school, and then they
one
want to
thing-
know who's cheating on
Yeah,
who.
but the whole-
Right,
who worked
right.
hard, and
but then it's you who winds up in the middle of that. Who, like, if somebody is doing that, and you can't prove it, but you see it, you know it, but you can't prove it, and I didn't do that.
Validation always comes
The
forward.
validation always comes through anyway.
Exactly.
And her hair back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn that hair. Anyway,
I just cut like 6 inches off too.
Yeah.
6 inches, wow. Anyway,
So did you start taking classes, or how did you move forward?
Well, actually, interestingly enough, I had met one of who I don't connect with anymore, as I believe, we serve purpose in each other's lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
yeah.
So I was very fortunate, and I'm very humbled, to be able to have co-taught with a world-famous psychic medium. And traveled back and forth between New York and Los Angeles, and
Sylvia Brown.
no,
Who?
no. But I'd rather.
Oh, you
yeah,
can't say.
I'd rather
Okay.
not.
All right.
Okay,
But I still, I honor and I'm very grateful for that experience
so
because.
that helped you grow,
Yeah,
basically, and
exactly.
actually,
It connected the spiritual dots, is what I say.
the breadcrumbs, the things you were missing,
Yes.
or the things that you didn't, they were there, but you didn't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
We all had that.
And it was through that teaching, and I still find it to be, you learn just as much from your students
Yeah.
as you teach them. So
Well,
it's a beautiful
sometimes they-
exchange.
A lot of times they have answers to your own things that you need to know. And sometimes through the work of helping them, you're going to grow by doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
And the experience, and sometimes the challenges that they have, or the connections that are on top of them from surrounding their spirit, their light, all right? And then you have to learn how to defend against that and keep that away from you, not to absorb that stuff. I mean, we go through this all the time, But
Yeah.
the mentoring that you had was, you guys, instrumental in getting you to the point where you are now. But getting picked up for a show like that, it's impressive, because somebody, must have seen you do something somewhere to know who you are.
Yeah, we don't know, but
You
I
never
do.
found that out, huh?
No,
Isn't
but I
that
do
Spirit didn't tell you?
believe. No, but I do believe it was absolutely spirit guided because I had turned down 2 shows prior to that. I just didn't feel they had the integrity
All right.
that
These are regular TV shows, or just
Yeah.
a show? All right.
regular shows. One more ghost hunting centered,
Oh,
and one more a bit, like the other ones that are out there.
Listen, there's a
So-
lot of these ghost hunting shows, and
So I said to Spirit, I will absolutely honor that and, follow through with that. But I just have 3 requests, that it inspires people, whether they're gifted or they're not, in this capacity. Because I do believe we all have gifts.
you do.
I
you
do too.
And that it would also present it, with the editing and all of those things, that it would be presented in a light that was very much.
That would tell the whole story, and
yeah.
not excerpts.
Right, more about bringing insight into
Yes.
situations as opposed for dramatic purposes,
Exactly.
for exhibitional purposes. I
Yes.
believe that as well.
No drama.
Right.
No
It's
drama.
really about love and teaching.
Yeah. And that it would have integrity. So
Okay.
that was my 3 things. They came along,
You
and
came along, you just said
That was
yes,
it.
signed on the dotted line,
yeah,
and the
was
rest
it.
was history.
rest was
Okay, now
history.
are they showing the shows that you did here already, or are you doing new shows for Europe?
It's actually, I didn't know at the time that it had aired internationally. I was getting all these messages in different languages, and they were all consistent,
Yeah.
And I had gotten a beautiful, even though they know that I don't speak Russian per se, they would still take the time to honor and
Yes.
write a whole, 3-page email
Oh, how nice.
in Russian.
So you went to
and
push the button. and
Google
it
Translate's
there you go.
fabulous.
Yes, it does.
Google Translate is amazing.
Okay.
But the energy of gratitude could be felt without the language barrier. So
Yeah, you know.
Right, that's a beautiful
I
platform
had somebody wrote me
to
something
be
in
given.
Italian, but I happen to know it, so I was like, oh, okay. Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
these type of shows are so important. Our show's important for the same reason, and your show, because people are starting to awaken, and there are some who are on the ascension path and some who are not. But nonetheless, everybody sooner or later will get that way, and we have to start turning their minds that way, you know what I mean? To
Yes,
see
I agree.
beyond the physical, you know what I mean? And so that's the whole goal, is to help awaken people and to, I mean, I've never really talked about sacrifices I've made, like you were talking about what you did on the show and everything, but you know, you go through a lot
Yeah.
for the experiences of learning these things, for sure.
Absolutely. Set thousands of people in sessions and did 5, 6 things at the same time. Strengthen their resolve, remove their attachments, help them with their mental blocks. There was so many things that went on at the same time. That's why my
Get
sessions
them
last
out of
so
their
long.
own way.
Right. You want them to have a harmonious progression. Give them the tools, the components, raise the vibrations,
Yeah.
see, go to their core afflictions, see what's their past life issues that correlate with this lifetime, their soul evolution, their primary substance. You want to take care of everything in a short period of time
Well, the
and
thing
move them
is-
on their way.
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes when I would run a session, you might do 20 different techniques, but the most important thing to raise their frequency is to get rid of the bad and bring in the good and move them forward. And you know, myself, I believe karma is important, soul retrieval is important, and implant and device removal is important to move people along. In the old days, I'm talking 15, 20 years ago, it might take 3 years to get through it systematically, like once a month or so, but
Yeah.
now everything's sped up.
It's sped up, it
Everything's
is.
sped up so much that you can accomplish a whole lot more now with people than you could before. And
Yeah.
the energy
It's called
itself is getting,
perseverance.
the energy itself is getting rid of stuff that we, in 20 years ago, had difficulty doing.
Yeah.
Timeline
know?
Let's do-
acceleration.
We're running short, not short on time, but
Yeah.
let's let Melissa have a person or two come up and
Mm-hmm.
ask you a few questions or give them a
Yeah,
Will you read it?
sure. And I just want to add to what you said. It's so funny because if I had $1 for every time somebody said, if I came to you before I went to therapy
yeah.
for 10 years,
Right,
I could have
right.
resolved my 10, and saved $100,000 in therapy
right.
with
You know, yeah,
an
like
hour
that-
session. So it's
Beautiful thing,
people-
right?
Yes, a lot of people, you get the people too, like we've discussed it many times, that are just like psychic junkies. They bounce from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're getting all sorts of conflicting information
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and they don't really grow because of that. You know what I mean?
I believe
They-
though
they
they're
want-
looking for something we can't provide them.
you cannot. Listen, you can't hold everybody's hand.
Yes.
And unless
try
they, and then,
to.
well, I know you do, but unless they accept who they are
Yeah.
and accept that they are a child of God, they do not want to do this, and they won't advance, and they'll stay stuck in this stagnant 3D world, and they're not going to go anywhere.
But
They're not going to advance.
I'm going to challenge you, if I may,
Go ahead.
Sally.
I'm bigger than you, so watch out.
But
Yeah.
very true. But what do you feel about, people who maybe their lesson or their soul contract requires
Them to do this, yes.
those,
yes, absolutely.
those
But
things
The
and-
ones that are to be enlightened, there are those that are set to be enlightened and don't accept it. And even the ones that are going to stagnate here and do this over again because they're here to do that as the martyr. They chose to be the martyr. Or they chose to be the one that lingers in this world. Okay? Even they, okay, need to recognize who they are.
Agreed.
It takes a while, though. I mean, even psychics go to psychics occasionally because you're blocked on your own in many instances. So, it has its purpose, you know what I mean? And I think it's a step-by-step process. And let's say many, many, many steps, not just a few. Many, many. I mean, I couldn't even enumerate the steps I've taken, probably 1 million, And so, I mean, but it has its purpose, and there are actually the psychics for the psychics, that will dig
Well, there's
into areas,
there are psychics who are teachers. And then there's psychics who are, I hate to say it, but they're carnies, okay? And that's what you find a lot of. Oh, Miss Cleo told me this on the phone. God, come on, But
Unfortunately, I think as light workers, we take on the role of undoing.
That's, I never,
lot
I
of
never,
that,
I
you know.
never, if you ever heard me say it, then I never say I'm psychic, as I'm intuitive.
Right. Never use
I will
that
not,
word.
I will not claim
Clairvoyant.
that word for nothing.
It's
Why?
more like a
To
mystic
me,
and a
that's a, I don't know,
It's a catchphrase.
it's a catchphrase, yeah, but it's so overused that they're actually, joining us all together, grouping us together, when we're not that group.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Melissa, will you do a couple of readings for us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, now you remember what I told you about the
Yes.
microphone? Okay, anybody want to come up? All right, come on up, Matt.
I can
Having trouble? Don't worry about it, we'll look at it.
Hi, how are you? Good. Nice to meet you, Matthew. I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Good.
So, Matthew, did you have a question, or did you want me to just kind of see what I get for you?
That's good. See what you get.
Yes? Okay. And I have your permission to give you what I receive?
Of course.
Thank you. Immediately, I'm very much drawn to, okay, thank you. If you hear me say thank you, I like to acknowledge spirit as well.
Okay.
But
give you
I
a little time.
I do have a father figure that I feel steps forward for you. He's doing this for me, so I don't know if he would have had a mustache or is laughing about a mustache. Okay, thank you. He also grabs his heart. So I do feel that this area would have been impacted either before his passing or attributed to his passing. Thank you. And I do feel that you've taken his middle name, or there's a name passed down. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Thank you. And he's also making me very much aware that there was an accident that kind of shifted or changed your life in a lot of ways.
More than one.
Okay, thank you. Was one on a bike, on a motorcycle, and one in a car? Because I'm seeing two totally different vehicles here. Thank you. Okay. And one would have affected either I want to say L4, L5 is what I'm hearing.
Sounds good.
Yes? Yes, yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. And as he comes in, my voice is going, so I know that there would have been struggle for him to communicate towards the end. So I do need to let you know that there was some sort of hearing a goodbye, but a feeling of not being able to reciprocate, okay? Okay, thank you. And he's also talking about the fact that he wants you to kind of get, and I'll never change what spirit gives, but he's showing me that he wants you to kind of get your stuff together, is what he's saying. Okay, thank you. He's saying that you're stronger than where you are now. So he's kind of pushing you forward into the future. But I do feel like, he wants you to kind of shed the layers that you carry, and look inward is what he's saying. I do know that he was a man that, not a man of many words, so it's interesting to me how he comes through so verbally. So I do need to tell you that I love you, because I do feel I did not say that very much to you when I was here. Okay, you understand that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And he makes me feel that I need to sit up straighter. So would there be a military connection with him?
Yeah.
Thank you, because he is actually making me sit quite straight, and I don't have great posture. Thank you. Also, can you understand the name Daniel, either here or in the spirit world?
Yeah.
Okay, and who would Daniel be?
Grandson.
A grandson, okay. Because he's talking about Daniel. So I think Daniel is very important in this. For some reason, he's acknowledging. Now, Daniel would still be here?
Yes.
Thank you. Would it have been a struggle with, actually, let me rephrase that, I apologize, but he's making me aware that there was a struggle with Daniel coming to the earth plane. So there was either a complication or a child's lost previously before the birth of Daniel.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. I won't change what I get, so I'm going to absolutely give you that. But I do feel that there was either a miscarriage or something that was brought through before Daniel came into the earth plane. And I do see that he held Daniel before Daniel came to the earth plane, made sure that everything was okay with him coming in.
Was it?
Yes, very much so. Okay, thank you. And I also feel the name David as being significant as well. Can you understand the name David?
Yes, that's my son.
Okay, because he's a bit concerned about David. He feels that he hasn't quite found his way. He's kind of steering him. It's funny, but he is kind of steering him down a pathway. Okay, thank you. Are you aware that he's either taken the fireman's exam or the police exam?
Too old.
Too old, but wanted to.
Yes.
Thank you. Because he's saying that, he's very much aware that he tries, but, there's definitely guidance from him as far as your son goes. Definitely trying to keep your son, trying to find his passion or his purpose, but there's definitely a little bit of, forgive me, I won't change their words, but a little bit of laziness.
Tell him to try a little harder.
Yeah, a little laziness on Daniel's part, so on David's part, I apologize. And that's, from Dad, not me. Don't shoot the messenger. But, okay, thank you. And he also just spoke about the fact that, okay, I need to give a happy birthday as well. So either a birthday just passed or a birthday is coming up. But I need both? Okay, thank you. Would one be on the 13th of a month? Okay, because he's giving me 13 as being very significant. So I don't know where the 13 falls, but I do need to give you that number. Okay, thank you. And he's also drawing me to June, or the number 6 as well.
Okay.
With a birth, an anniversary, or a passing.
Could be passing.
Okay. Interesting. Right, thank you. And Mom would be in spirit as well for you?
Yes.
Okay, because he's just brought Mom forward. She's kind of more of a spitfire for me, but a little strict in her ways,
Okay.
I do feel. But at the same time, I feel like if she loved you, she really loved you. But it's kind of a fine line, with her. Okay, thank you. She's saying that you look like her. So I don't know if there's a debate back and forth with the family,
Not at all.
but she's laughing about the fact that you look like her. They're both debating on the other side. I do know, too, that Dad drops dimes for you. So
What does that mean?
change or coins that are found, this is a sign from Dad. He's wanting to claim that as his sign. Okay, thank you. And also, too, are you recently overcoming something? Because I do feel medically there's alternatives, he's saying. There's alternative ways to overcome this. So I do feel any injuries, especially in the lower back. And okay, thank you. And he's drawing me right just below the neck area as well.
Try seat-free.
Well, I'm not sure about that. He didn't give me that, but not a doctor, but very much drawn right here. Okay, thank you. And he's just speaking about the alternatives. He wants you to kind of explore the alternative therapies to this. But I do feel that this is something you are fighting, to get your quality of life back. And just please know that you have their support behind you 100%. So I'm going to leave that with you, if I may.
Okay.
All right? Thank
Sounds good.
you. Thank you.
Very talented.
Thank you. And thank your loved ones as well. Without spirit, just the messenger. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Who's our next kid?
See me after the show. I have your
Very
answer.
good.
Thank you.
You have an answer?
I have your answer. See me after the show. Yeah. Yeah.
To what?
How are you?
To the
I'm
room.
sorry. Sharon. Oh, that's so funny. I kept hearing Sharon before she came up, and she's Sharon. That works for me. Okay, Sharon. Let me see. Okay. Sharon, can you connect to the name Dolores? Very strong D, like a Dottie or a Dolores with this. Okay, thank you. And I do also feel that there is a younger energy in the spirit world. Can you understand the younger energy?
Could it be my great-granddaughter?
Hang on one sec. Let me check with spirit. Okay, thank you. Would she have come into the earth plane and passed very shortly after?
No.
Okay, this energy is definitely younger in spirit, though. Hang on. I actually feel very drawn this way, so even though I'm sitting with her, I feel very much drawn that way, which is interesting. Hang on, give me one sec. I'll ask spirits to come closer. Right, okay. And I just keep hearing Gloria as well, so very strong G with that. Right, thank you. Now, Mom would be in spirit for you?
Yes.
Thank you, because she's just said that's who you're waiting for. So she said she's waiting for me. Would that be correct? You were hoping, because she said you spoke to her in the car on the way here. So in your mind, you were thinking of her on the way here. And you talk to her still. Because she says, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, thank you. And there's a very significant picture that I do see. I feel that was found after her passing, that was either redone or touched up and gifted. So I do feel like there are siblings here I need to acknowledge that this picture was either given to. Also, too, she showed me roses. So I do feel that there was something significant with rose connected to Mom. Okay, thank you. And she's showing me something that was planted. And I do feel that it is some kind of rose bush or shrub that would have been planted in memorial for her. Can you understand that?
Lilacs.
Lilacs, okay. But it would have been in her memorial? Like in memory of her?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. And especially the color purple. Very, very big on the color purple with her. It's funny, I don't get this often, but was there a debate about what she was to be laid out in?
No.
Because there's two outfits she's showing me, and it's almost a debate whether to lay her out in one versus the other.
She wanted her coffin clothes.
Ah, interesting. Okay. 'Cause she is showing me two outfits. Was she buried in purple? Do you know that?
No, she wasn't buried in purple.
Okay. Can anybody over here connect to that information? 'Cause my energy keeps going this way, and it's like, which is I have her. I'm very drawn this way.
With the roses, I was feeling like, did she pray the rosary?
She might have,
Mm-hmm.
but my sister does and I did.
Mm-hmm.
Before
And
she passed away.
connection to Mother Mary is usually illustrated by the connection with the roses.
That's what I was saying.
I do grow roses.
Oh,
and
how
I
Thank you.
love roses, but
There we
I
go.
love
Okay.
nature and
Uh-huh.
every flower and every weed.
That's
I
okay.
love.
But
So
that's
it's,
why the
you know,
roses kept
Yeah.
coming through.
Okay.
She's acknowledging that. Now, the other thing for me is she's telling me that
there's a piece of jewelry that somebody wanted to either make into something else or wanted to like almost recreate like a ring but would be worn on a necklace.
No. Yesterday was my birthday, and she had these little earrings.
And you,
Could it be that you're seeing the fact that I put her earrings on?
yes, absolutely, because she's acknowledging the jewelry connection, and you having a piece of her jewelry. So yes, absolutely. And I'm very drawn to August with her, or the number 8,
August.
or the 8th of a month.
No.
Did-
Doesn't ring a bell.
Did Mom pass in 2008?
I can't remember.
That's okay.
But
So-
it wasn't 2008 because she passed away about 16, 17 years ago.
Okay. Something about the number 8 is very significant for me.
I love the number 8.
Okay, thank you. I don't want to pick that up psychically though. Let me just go back to Mom for a second here. Oh, how funny. Okay. She's saying that she likes the color of your hair. So did you just change your hair color or get your hair done?
No. But
Cuz
I think she always liked red.
yeah, cuz she's
And,
talking
yeah.
about the color of your hair. And a drastic change. So I don't know if you wore it very different when she was still here.
Yeah, I had black hair and now I'm a redhead.
There you go. Okay, thank you. Because she is complimenting that as well with your hair. The other thing that's very interesting to me is she's bringing me around the month of September as being significant for change. So I do feel that there's something coming up in September that will be of positive news, very much uplifting within the family.
Beautiful.
So I don't want to spoil anything, but I do feel new life.
There
So,
is going to be a baby,
ah,
and I'm very interested in the fact that I had this little girl that came into my vision,
okay.
and she was born. And I think she's spiritual, but she's gifted, and I just feel that about her. And there's something about this little girl, which is my great-granddaughter, that I have a connection with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who she is from the past, but I think she's magnificent. And I
Aw.
keep on thinking she's gifted, and there's just something about her.
Yes, and I do think
Mhm.
that you have a past life connection with her, and that's why it's a soul connection. So there's definitely something in her eyes that's very familiar to you from the moment she was born, is what I feel.
Mhm.
That you recognize it very much in her eyes. And I do feel that, we kind of reincarnate in soul families or soul groups. I do believe that you have a soul connection with her. And the other thing is, children are very pure because they're so, close to the source. So, she may even have dreams or information that she'll share with you that will give you more insight on that as she gets older. And it's interesting, Mom keeps saying she was supposed to be a longer name, but she's got a shorter name.
Yes, Giovanna.
I was
but we
gonna say
call her
Gia.
G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I kept feeling Gia. So I have to go, okay, thank you. But yes, I do feel she is very gifted, very intuitive. And she actually sees your mom, is what I've just heard.
How beautiful.
So when she is staring off into the distance and kind of laughing or giggling, I do feel that she's recognizing the soul of your mom.
Beautiful.
So just know that She's very much acknowledging. I also have a dog that's running around. So, have you lost a dog?
I had several.
Okay.
But maybe I feel a dog that comes to my bed.
And it's like
and
a
I could feel the paws,
Mhm.
and I know it's China.
yes. I'm going to absolutely validate that because what I saw was actually trying to come up or like the feeling of the impression on the bed. Okay. And would you still have the collar?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because the dog has no collar on for me, so that's my sign for the fact that you would have kept it.
I did.
So very much a cherished thing, but please know that the animal soul is with you as well. All right, so
One more. I'm going to have another grandchild, a great grandchild.
Okay.
It's going to be born in May.
okay.
Is there anything with my, I know it's usually a soul that comes through, or,
What do you mean by soul that comes through?
I always feel that people from the past, family members from the past, or a soul connection.
I do believe soul connections, but I also believe that we won't essentially reincarnate in the same time that your life experiences.
We have 10 minutes.
Oh, I apologize.
I'm sorry.
No, but thank you so much.
much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Put your mic
That
back
was
in.
very nice. You
Very
did
Very good.
so wonderful.
Thank you.
I actually felt like I was watching one of them shows with Kim Russo. It was very Kim Russo-ish. You know?
Well, that's a very big compliment in that case
Yeah,
because
I was- yeah.
she is a very phenomenal medium.
What were you feeling from him?
Oh, indeed. Her retro cognizance is amazing.
Yes, she's a
what I
phenomenal
feel like.
medium and a phenomenal human being, to be
Indeed.
honest.
She certainly is. She's got a
Being
pure
that
heart.
we are running super short on
So
time,
do you.
okay?
And that was beautiful.
Um, We're going to pass spirits in honor of All Saints Day and All Souls Day, and for the upcoming Thanksgiving. And so these earthbound spirits can go home to God. Not only that, but they can celebrate Christmas in heaven. So let's join hands.
There we go.
Come on. Okay, let's send them across.
Holy Father, Jesus, we ask that you open up the portals for each soul where they belong, where they need to go, and take them to your bosom and send them on their way. You know, the past few times we've done this, I've seen, like you see, highways of beings
Yeah,
crossing. It's
yeah.
not quite as busy as it was previously when we've done this twice before.
There's a lot going, but not like that.
Oh no, I mean, when we did this before the first time, it was like the Coliseum to me. All the portals opened up just like you're in the Coliseum, and they were going zoom, zoom, zoom.
Well, they were zooming all
zoom.
right. It looked like the headlights on the highway in
Yeah.
California.
But
They were-
we
they
must
were
have
flying.
cleared a lot of them
Yeah, we did,
because
we
it's
did,
not
we did.
it's not as busy.
No.
Thank goodness. We carried that energy
Positive
for
thing.
3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Yes, I left the conch shell outside.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
like-
good.
I
Oh,
went
yeah,
to
the
my
last
house.
time they went through the
they
conch.
vacate right through here. I could feel this hand here.
That was given to me by
Yeah.
Neptune in Turks and Caicos to actually assist with raising the Atlanteans and the Atlanteans specifically that were underneath the energy field that we were about to lift. So we needed to
Okay.
send that energy off.
Yeah, that was really kind of funny. We never expected to go through the shell.
And it's interesting because I just actually was gifted one 2 days ago by a client.
Oh
so
my.
there's a synchronicity.
There is.
Trying
It
to
looks like
unlock
you're
some
going to
key
be
codes,
crossing
dear.
people
The,
over.
the purple thing that you were getting coming from this way, where was it coming from specifically?
I'm sorry.
When you were saying you kept feeling some energy coming from here. When you
It
were
was right in between you and
Yes,
Joanne.
it's the Josephine.
Josephine.
Yeah.
Oh my
The-
God. I
that's okay.
apologize.
Oh,
Everybody
it's just a
could more
J
people
name.
Call me Joanne. Just call me JoJo, or
That's
Yeah.
so
Well, then
funny.
that was the spirit then standing there probably.
the Violet Flame.
The
That
Violet
was
Flame of
actually.
Saint Germain.
Yeah.
and-
It actually was Yolanda, which means violet. She's from the Violet Stargate.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, she's with me all the time, so
Okay.
Yeah,
pick that
kept
up. That was
Catching the
beautiful.
corner of my eye as I was reading. I was like,
Right.
I
That's
wanted
how we
to look so bad, but
transmute
Because I
energy.
was looking at it, you know, it was funny because I was thinking along the lines of, Saint Germain, and you kept saying, I keep on seeing
She's
Violet.
female.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
it
she has
was
a
so
female
interesting.
Okay.
embodiment.
All right. So let's finish passing, Father. Just keep the passing going. We're going to break hands now. Keep them going into your light and let them celebrate this year with you in heaven for the Christmas celebration with their families and loved ones. We agree?
We agree,
It
amen.
is.
Amen and amen. Okay.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I can still feel that energy there. It's very light and fluffy.
We got 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've done a lot of good work, as well with the rest of the planetary heroes. We thank them as well.
Oh yeah.
So
I
what do you
mean-
think?
I think it was wonderful. I thank
fun?
Spirit for the experience and you guys as well. Yes.
You can come on the show anytime.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you very
Anytime.
much.
It was a lot of fun. It really was tonight. What do you guys think out there, huh? Hello?
Yeah, they enjoyed it, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right. It's, see that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Joe?
Thanks, Spirit.
We have about 4 minutes left.
Yes,
Anything interesting you'd like to elaborate on?
You want to talk favorite subjects?
Sure. Okay.
Intergalactic energy.
Intergalactic energy. Here we go.
Here
Okay.
we go.
Ready for this?
Adolphina knows, yeah.
Are you intergalactic with us?
I am not, but I'm open to.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. All right, you don't have to worry about being open. It's already there. I just got to open up the porthole, the
Right, we just
Stargate.
passed the 1111, which bring in a lot of new energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
That will help us propel into the next timeline.
And being that you noticed that, you're already there.
Yeah.
So accept it, claim it, it's yours.
I just said, I was about to say before, I was like, they're going to unlock a key code.
Like, of course they're going to do
That's
that.
why she's here. They're going to unlock the key code, and then it's going to take her into
A different realm.
the different
Yeah.
realm. Well, actually,
When you
a-
start
a-
seeing new
a
visitors
stellar Stargate, I
that
should
come
say.
to visit you while you're sleeping, that's a lot of fun. Don't be afraid of them.
We've all
Everything's
been
I
fine.
don't know.
They're going to come
I'm
and
not
they're going to
afraid
come
at
and
all.
welcome you. Is what
I
they're
have
going to
very
do.
strong boundaries, though. So
That's all right. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I spent
Not
15
worried.
years going, in the name of the crazy, be gone. I don't want to deal with you. Wait for my presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you got 3 minutes. Okay. Any particular place you're going to be? Or coming up?
Coming up, I am.
Expos? Anything?
Yes, I'm actually teaching a beginner's. It's open, kind of getting in touch with your intuition.
Okay.
It's sponsored by the Power of Three,
Okay.
and just a quick shout out. My nephew was born today.
Hey!
So,
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we welcome
17th, I believe.
Frankie into
Yeah.
the world.
And he's a November baby just like me.
Yes, 2:01 this afternoon.
That's
so
great. That's great. So you-
That's
you-
exciting.
An
we welcome
auntie?
Frankie. Yes,
Okay, that's good.
Aunt
That
Zen.
means he's going to bring a lot of luck, because a 1 and a 7 is an 8
8.
in spirituality.
Money,
so
too.
He's going to be
He's blessed.
bringing a great
That's
abundance of
exciting.
love, joy,
He's blessed that he's got a mentor and he
happiness.
will
That's
see
exciting.
what
exciting.
you see. So
I agree. I think so
make sure
too.
that nobody discourages them. If they say they have imaginary friend, they do.
Oh, absolutely.
All right? That's
I'm
the,
very big
She'll
on that.
guide her.
Yes.
It would be nice to
Right.
have a
Big on that.
mentor, in the family, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You be it.
Absolutely.
all right? Any other things coming up?
Teaching that class over, and also too, I do a lot of online and gallery work as
Gallery,
well.
yeah.
So I'll be in New Orleans
New
Nothing,
Orleans.
nothing in the area as of right now, but
That's good.
except
You get around.
the class. I do get around.
Well, that's very
Do
good.
get around. Spiritually get around.
New
Yes.
Orleans is loaded with spirit. You're gonna love that. Have you ever been
Yes.
there before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, then you
I
know
have.
it's like, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we'll be clearing that. I'll be clearing that. Oh boy,
Good for you.
that's my quadrant. I'll be clearing that. Anyway,
His hemisphere.
all right, time to wrap it up. We got 1 minute, so we're going to thank our sponsors. All right, Antonio's Pork Store in Tottenville and Aardvark Pest Control in Great Kills. We'd also like to thank our crew. Without them, we couldn't put on such a wonderful product. Our boys in the booth, Dano. Okay, Brian. Without them, they're the guys behind the glass.
Happy Thanksgiving
Happy
to everyone.
Thanksgiving to everyone.
Love and light. And be
Okay.
grateful for all your blessings.
Absolutely. Happy
And we'll
birthday
s-
to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's your birthday
Thank you.
coming up too.
All right, we're going to wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Okay. Then.
Say goodbye
We'll say
now.
goodbye. See you next month.
Okay.